So how's it going with you guys? You know, I've always kind of wanted to start, like, an ASMR channel in someone else's room. So while KD is taking a pee-pee, welcome to Jordi Does ASMR. Yeah, I don't have anything prepared for this impromptu ASMR stream, so I really hope you just like the sound of a Jordi who's not from Newcastle whispering. I think he's coming back, so I'm going to stop this now.
Hello, Internet. You're listening to the In Your House comedy podcast with the Babyface and his fellow funny friend. Now hold on to your butts. Keep your arms and legs inside the podcast at all times. Prepare to have an autographical orgasm in 3, 2, 1.
Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of the In Your House Comedian Podcast, the show where two comedians sit down to chat absolute poo together about anything and everything. I am your comedic babyface and all-around butthole KD Hinken, and I am joined by the man who, if you have a lot of clothes, you're Jordi. If you are a Finnish band and you play in Eurovision, a lot of heavy metal, you're Lordi. But none of that matters because I am joined by the big bushy-haired beauty. Welcome, Jordi.
I'm surprised you didn't make a pun about Newcastle there. That seemed like the obvious rhyme to make, but...
Why would that?
Newcastle, people from Newcastle are Geordies, aren't they?
Well, yeah, but that's your name too.
I suppose. I mean, it's spelled differently.
That is your name too. Like, just so you know.
You know, I've gone 24 years and people have been calling me Jordi all of this time, and I'm like, why?
Oh my God.
I'm not from Newcastle.
Yeah.
My name is spelled differently to how it's spelled in Jordi. I like my name. It's spelled Jordi. The only thing I don't like about it is that nobody ever knows how to spell it once you've heard it.
Jordi.
Jordi.
Yeah, I think I saw it before I heard it.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. But for people who don't have that luxury of getting an email as their first contact,
I do prefer not talking to people. It's easier.
Well, that's why you run a podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, obviously. I love talking to people, but only when I choose to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, but how are you doing? You doing all right?
I am doing absolutely beautiful, as always. I have my beers to start. Cheers, everybody.
Of course, I've got water in a satchel, so you know I'm well behaved, mum.
Forget about that. You got the turtleneck. That's a beautiful thing.
Oh, thank you. It's a turtleneck. I don't really have a story behind it. Actually,
I do like turtlenecks, so that's a thing.
I do actually have a story behind it. So I suppose this comedy podcast, we'll talk about comedy stuff.
It's a comedian podcast, just because we're comedians, that's all.
Well, you're a comedian and I exist. But
you're gigging more than me at the moment, so.
So one of the first shows on the way here, we were talking about like how we started comedy, and I was saying that I started doing comedy in university, and I went to Worcester University, and I studied drama there, and because of that, I was able to just book out the drama studio and put on a show whenever I wanted.
Which is cool.
Yeah, it was
Very
awesome.
Cool, yeah.
So I was like, sod it, I'm going to do a stand-up comedy show. And I did it a couple of times at university, and one of the shows I did was called At Least No One Died. And the opening to that show was I had like a fake dead body in the corner of the room, and how that works was like I had this turtleneck was bought for the purpose of being like the turtleneck that like would make that dead body, and then I stuffed clothes.
Oh, okay, yeah. So that was a dead body.
Yeah,
okay,
then I had like a styrofoam head like coming out of it. So like the curtains would open. You know, there'd be like a voiceover being like, "People, welcome to the stage, Jordi." The curtains would open, and it'd be me standing over a dead body, and it worked quite well. So.
That feels like a good enough open, to be honest.
It was. It set the tone for the show. Let's put it that way.
Murder
Or,
set the tone for the show.
Yeah, at least no one died, and there's a dead body in the corner the entire time.
Well, it brings you on to comedy anyway. I mean, it's a regular thing to die on stage for all comedians.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So you got there ahead of people.
Yeah, I definitely did.
I'm surely you've experienced that by now, because you've been doing comedy. How long have you been doing it now?
That's I'm about, say,
Well,
50 gigs-ish,
yeah,
give
yeah.
or take, because I did my first gig before the pandemic, but that was like the only gig I did for like the
it's
next
hard
2
to count,
years.
isn't it? Yeah.
And at uni, I did it like, the odd gig. I think the most gigs I had before graduating uni was like 2 in a month. So, I don't really say that I've done it for like a year and a half. I'd say more that I've done it for about 4 months.
Yeah.
Because that's how long I've been doing it regularly.
I know what you mean. Like, for me, like even saying like 4 years or something I've done it, it's like, do you really count a year and a half of that though?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Do you? So it's easier to say like about 50 gigs.
Yeah.
But yeah, where are we going with this bit? I can't remember. I've lost track already. It was 2 minutes in, and he's already lost the plot.
I was quite lucky with that though, like during the pandemic time, like doing all like the online kind of stuff that I do. Well, I started doing it during that, and that got me known more than before. Yeah, I told you it would.
Yeah. It's the freezer. It's the magic freezer. Just like.
I think it's just a ghost. I think it's the only thing that explains it. It's definitely not the freezer, and the EMF from the freezer, that's far too logical.
It's far too likely a solution.
It's far too likely, and there's too much chance of that being legitimately the case.
I prefer it to be the ghost of my grandma. Thank you very much.
Exactly. So you understand the logic.
Yeah. Sorry. The monitor rudely cut us off.
Have you had like any like random like bombing stories yet?
That's it. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Go on. We've all had them.
Okay. So being at university and doing comedy is great, right? But at university, I was very much doing it to a home crowd. And even when I did it like the local theatre, it was mostly still to a home crowd. So I essentially learned... I had a way of doing comedy that works for a friendly theatre-going audience. Who are awesome to perform to. Theatre audiences are like the best audience because they're most likely to like get involved and laugh and clap and all of that.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, and it's great. But they are not representative of the comedy going average
that makes sense.
individual. So in September, it was literally like 1 month out of uni, doing like my first gigs outside of Worcester and Edinburgh, and I had a couple in Oxford before then, but like spreading out like a bit. And it was literally good gig, bad gig, good gig, bad gig, good gig, bad gig, back to back. And it was, and sometimes I would do the same thing in one place, it'll be fine, and then do it again in another place, and no one cares.
That's why you don't want to, like, if you got something new and you're trying it out, don't base it on like one place. You know what I mean? The reaction, like, a few people I've made that mistake before, so I try it in a few places, because some people just laugh at different things, man.
It's true, and some people laugh at like different bits of the joke as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So like, I've got a joke about comedians earning a stable income. And that stable income being...
That is a joke on its own.
Yeah, indeed. That's why I'm a comedian. I'm not going to get booked after this, am I? But
give it time, we'll say some worse stuff.
God. But...
Bombing.
Yeah, bombing. So I've got a joke about a stable income, and what I say is like, people have said that it'll be several years before I can earn a stable income. That's bullshit. I have found that since starting comedy, my income has remained incredibly stable indeed, at 0 for quite some time now. And people laugh at like different bits of that joke every time.
When they figure out where you're going.
Yeah.
Because people say that it's like not a good thing when people figure out where you're going and stuff with the joke. I think that's a great thing, because when you figure it out just so like second before, you feel like you're smarter as well. Then when you get to that end bit, it's like a psychology thing.
Yeah, I came up with a new joke recently that I say I had to call in sick to work. No, I've got my own joke wrong. Jesus Christ. I wasn't able to get into work recently, so I had to call in sick. I'd caught a terrible virus. That's the last time I watched porn on my sat nav. Yeah, but like I did that joke in Banbury on Thursday, and I said I wasn't able to get into work recently, and one person in the back of the room laughed immediately.
What? What?
It was amazing, but I was like, that was the setup, guys. Come on.
That man's had far too much marijuana. That's what that man had.
Maybe that was it.
Far too many of something.
It was far too much of the Mary Janes.
Mary Jane.
You know, wasn't even 420.
I think, you know what, I started smoking bud before 420 became a thing. I don't know what that means. I still don't know what that means.
I don't touch the stuff.
No, I know, but it's a date.
I know I look like I do, but no, this is just how I look, guys. I'm actually getting my hair cut. Yeah.
How much though when you say you're getting it cut?
Probably all of it.
Oh, really?
A lot of it will have to go. But yeah,
Why?
so the reason I'm haven't cut it yet is because I've been having a friend out with like a film
Okay, yeah.
for like the past year or so. So it's
you-
basically like say the same length because you know if halfway through the show
Continuity. Yeah.
all of the hair is missing, you go, wait a minute.
Like I said, media student, continuity is the vein of my life when it comes to things. Even when I'm doing this podcast, like I'll see something and like I'll start it off with the picture and I'll have a hat on or something, and then halfway through I'll take it off and I'm like, fuck's sake, because now I can only really use that part for the thing. It's annoying.
Yeah, definitely. It's like, oh, his zipper was here and now the zipper is there.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, why did I choose this course of life?
Yeah. Fuck, what was something I was going to say then? What did you say before that? Fuck.
Mate, my memory is that of a goldfish. Like, if you're asking me anything longer than 5 seconds ago, just like it's 50-50 as to whether or not I'll be able to recall it.
How short are you going to cut your hair? You're going to shave it off, or?
I'm not certain yet. I'll go. It'll probably go quite short. And then I'll have to change all of my material because I look different. But I've got a couple of ideas.
How old are you now, though?
24.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, you're not at the age yet then where you need to really worry about this might be the last time you can grow long hair. You know what I mean?
I hope not, but
might be.
who
Like, this
knows?
might be the last time for me.
I mean, my dad had hair like not quite this length, but long hair all the way into his 30s. So, and he could probably still grow it out if he chose to. So, if the genetics are passed on, and apparently they have, because apparently I have identical hair to my dad.
Oh, okay.
And if you saw like a picture of him from like 15, 20 years ago, you'd be able to like, yeah, it's the same hairstyle. Then yeah, hopefully my hair will stick around for a decent amount of time. But honestly, you know, who knows? Life is.
You don't know. There's nothing wrong with going. I learned during the pandemic. I was worried about going bald, even though my dad's the same. I think anyway. I don't think he's gone bald yet. I don't see him very much. But last time I saw him, I swear he wasn't bald. He went grey early, or white. I think it was for him.
Yeah.
But he was in a relationship with my mum. Put my mum for years, so anyone would go grey in that.
No comment.
I love my mum, but she's a lot of work. Oh fucking hell! Jesus Christ, mouse!
What have you done? Gmail. Oh, you're gonna dox yourself. Be careful.
What am I doing? Oh, I didn't even know.
Your Gmail was popped up.
Oh,
everyone's
my goodness!
Gonna know how to contact you.
You can't see my porno links.
No.
My porno links are far too immense.
Yeah, that's the highest tier Patreon donation.
You know, I don't understand people that pay for porn. It's so weird to me. I do not understand that.
Here we go. I mean, you got to support the industry.
No, you don't. They support themselves with advertisements. They're fine.
No,
They're good.
Apparently, I heard this. So I do drama at uni, but I did like single honours drama in the end, basically. But when I started,
honours?
Yeah, so you can do like a mix of courses at uni. So when I started, I did a joint honours for my first year between drama and screenwriting.
Oh,
and
two
in one
things
of
I
my
very much appreciate that.
yeah, and I switched to doing drama in the second year because of various reasons. The drama course was better, basically.
Do you see yourself more as like in front of the camera rather than behind? You can be both, though. That's the thing.
You can be both. Yeah, it's not even that. Like I enjoyed writing, and I kept writing after switching.
Yeah. Okay.
It's just that the drama course was a lot better, and the drama course I was switching onto specifically was called touring theatre, and the final assessment for that was taking a show to Edinburgh Fringe. Yeah, and like
Wow.
expenses paid. Yeah, that's why I switched basically.
Fair play. Yeah.
And so I'll get back to the original point I was going to make if I can remember it, which is, as we've established, 50-50.
I can't remember the original point
But
now.
on the topic of Edinburgh Fringe, I was able to do because my final uni assessment was doing a stand-up comedy show, so I was able to take that stand-up comedy show to Edinburgh Fringe.
And you're lucky as well, because you probably don't understand, like, me now as somebody that's been in it for, like, years, I'm trying to figure out how to do the fringe stuff, sorry.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know how this works. I have no idea what I'm looking at. So you've already got that bit of knowledge, you know.
I've got a little bit of knowledge there.
Yeah.
What I can say is that having a cardboard sign with your face on it and like a poster and going around on the Royal Mile with that helps immensely.
Oh, yeah. Leaflets, man. Leaflets are the best things.
Flyers.
I've always got flyers.
I've actually got leftover flyers from Edinburgh.
Oh.
There we go. That was the show I did. Jordi versus reality.
Let me see this.
1 part comedy, 1 part philosophy. All parts very odd.
You know what? I love philosophy. I love all that kind of stuff. I love like the reason I don't do hallucinogenics and all that kind of stuff is because I already feel like I've got that brain that thinks about that kind of stuff. I don't want it to get more so, you know.
You know, I like the idea that philosophers, they just don't need drugs because they're basically high as a kite whenever they're...
It's kind of true, yeah. No, I get that mind completely. I've been listening to some of Plato. Listening to some of Plato's stuff like he's got a fucking podcast. Then, like, that's not what I meant.
Let's face it, if they were alive nowadays, Plato and Aristotle would definitely have.
Totally, yeah. Totally have a podcast, 100%. You're right.
It'd be called It's Greek to Me, and it would be all about, well, literally everything, because Aristotle wrote about everything under the sun.
It was Plato, wasn't it, that wrote about like the Atlantis stuff? It was his thing, wasn't it? 'Cause he was the one that first mentioned Atlantis.
He may well have done. I'm not too familiar with that.
Something to do with like an Egyptian pharaoh or something. No, something somewhere. Or it wasn't a pharaoh. It was like some kind of priest or something. Told him the story, and he just kind of retold the story in his whatever it was he brought out.
Yeah.
That's interesting. People think it's like an underground. I think people are confused what that means, like Atlantis. People still think it means like an underground city. Under the water, sorry. That's still alive now. It's
Water
not.
is just wet ground.
It is. But no, it's like Atlantis. It's dead. It's just a city that's, you know, like sunk
into the sea.
Like many cities, like it's not a crazy thing to think.
Yeah, I mean, I've come from Worcester, and Worcester is currently underwater.
Yeah, oh shit,
because the River Severn flows right through it, and about once every year or so, the water levels rise, and the entire city just takes the plunge. And I don't think any other city in the UK has the same nonchalant approach to being underwater.
If it's what I saw on the news, I completely understand what you mean. It must be, because I swear that was what I was watching in Worcester.
It's wet at the moment. And
when you say nonchalant, you mean like the way, like, because I've seen like they'll do like they'll go in a boat and like take McDonald's down to someone. From
like if London is underwater, right? Like everybody panics, right? The city goes into crisis. When Worcester floods, everyone goes, oh, for fuck's sake, I can't shop at Aldi this week because Aldi decided to put themselves on the riverbank. I have to shop at Sainsbury's now. Ugh. And that's about it. That's the best like inconvenience it gets.
Yeah. I made this point because I do a podcast with some American dudes.
Yeah.
Wrestling one. It's like 3 a.m. It's more like, but it's fun. Wrestling with Egos, wherever you get your podcast from. So they were talking about how their area is like filled with snow at the moment, like, you know, it's like up to the door and shit, and they're still going out doing stuff. And I was like saying about the flooding over here, and I was like, they're still pretty chill about it. But the funny thing is, if we have even like a tiny sprinkling of snow, a tiny bit,
really bit,
falls apart.
Yeah,
the world, this country dies.
Yeah, it's the UK is designed for mildly overcast weather.
Yep.
Not too sunny, not too rainy. A little bit of cloud coverage is lovely. The very moment it gets like 2 degrees hotter than it should. It's like the human body, like 2 degrees hotter and the entire thing shuts down. The roads melt, the houses fall apart. And now I can't shop at Aldi.
That is a terrible thing to not be able to shop at Aldi.
I know. just awful.
For anyone that doesn't live in England, you're missing out, because Aldi and Lidl, generally, I love those shops.
Yeah, they sound similar to each other. Like
They are the same thing, basically. They really are.
Someone like almost did an anagram and then forgot that
yeah.
Aldi didn't have 2 hours in it.
You can literally, I understand people that would get confused between the two of them.
I did for a time.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Is that Aldi, Lidl? They're the same word.
I would never be able to see Joe Biden go into Lidl. I would love to see that, actually.
Why Joe Biden specifically?
I don't know, I just thought about it then,
you know, I need a person, Joe Biden, he'll do, in Lidl.
Really? Imagine
With Cleopatra. Why?
Why not?
Why not?
He looks about that age.
Famous Egyptian pharaoh Joe Biden in Lidl. I need your finest toilet paper for my mummification process.
I something weird about him. You ever watched Parks and Recreation?
I'm not, no.
Oh, it's an old like sitcom kind of thing.
Yeah.
Not old, it's like 10 years ago, finished, probably something like that. And like in the last couple of episodes, there's like the one person who's like kind of the governor for the area. And basically she meets Joe Biden, he's like her hero, and at the end of it she meets him. Okay. And he's there for a bit talking to her. And this is only like 10 years ago. And he still looks old as fuck.
Yeah.
But it's like looking at that thinking, well, I know you look even older, and like even there you look like you're too old to do anything. But 10 years on, he's definitely too old now.
Fair. I mean, I get that.
He is literally a skeleton in a suit. I said before.
Like an animatronic.
Yeah, man. That isn't doing.
He's got like a little wind up in his back.
Yeah. An animatronic whose batteries are running low.
Like Five Nights at Freddy's, the next animatronic in there will be Joe Biden.
Oh, I've seen that.
You have to survive to 6 a.m. or else Biden's coming to get you.
The Purge? Yeah.
The Purge.
That would be the great way of doing The Purge. The Purge is a thing, but only for Joe Biden. And he will go around with a katana sword, a rocket launcher, whatever he wants. Create The Purge on his own.
For 24 hours, the US president can break any law that he wants to. Which, I mean, I'm sure he could break a lot of laws as it is.
I was going to say, that's how it is, like 24/7.
I feel like that.
Did you see the thing like, because did you see, have you seen the thing recently about the documents that were found in his possession?
No, I've heard that there was some classified documents or another.
So they had it with Trump like a few months ago where they raided his one of his houses.
Literally the words top secret on like a document.
Yeah.
It's like cartoonishly.
But Biden has also had some found now that are in his garage next to his Corvette from back when he was vice president to Obama.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were just in some box next to his Corvette and that, and then he was being quizzed by the journalist and that, and they were like, "Did you not know he was there?" And he was like, "No, I knew he was there." Sorry. He was like, "Were you not worried it was going to get stolen or anything?" And he was like, "Well, they were next to my locked Corvette, and that wasn't going away. It was in a locked garage."
It's foolproof logic.
It is. He probably cares about his Corvette.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, I suppose if you don't want classified documents to be leaked, put them where you want.
Where the things you care most is?
Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't be his wife upstairs, let's be honest.
Oh, God. I was gonna call him stupid, but you know what? I can't really argue with that.
No, you can still call him stupid.
I mean, I could still call him stupid, that is fair. But
forgetful, definitely.
Forgetful, yeah, that's fair.
I have general issues remembering stuff when I'm talking sometimes, like it'll just go out of my head and that. But I'm not running America, I'm not running a country.
That's the point. Like, admittedly, I've forgotten like half of what I was going to say on this podcast, but yeah, I'm not running anything, so it's okay.
That's okay then in that case.
Yeah, indeed. I was a chair of my theatre society, the university's theatre society, at Worcester, and it was a good time, but I'm really surprised that anyone tolerated me. The amount of how forgetful I was.
Join the club.
They were a great bunch of peeps, yeah, I'm surprised they tolerated me, to be honest with you.
I'm going for a wee this day.
Going for a wee.
Too much fucking beer beforehand.
Are we still running? Do I have to? Am I gonna cover them for?
No. I'll cut it out. I've already made a note.
Okay. So how's it going with you guys? Yeah. I've always kind of wanted to start like an ASMR channel in someone else's room. So while KD is taking a pee-pee, welcome to Jordi Does ASMR. Yeah, I don't have anything prepared for this impromptu ASMR stream, so I really hope you just like the sound of a Jordi who's not from Newcastle whispering. I think he's coming back, so I'm going to stop this now.
Are you okay with normal cigarettes if I have one of them?
Go for it.
Do you want me to? I can leave it.
I mean, I'd prefer if you didn't, to be honest with you.
Are you okay with the vaping that I was doing?
The vaping was fine. Don't worry
cool.
about it.
The thing that I prefer most is that the guest is comfortable.
No worries, thank you very much.
That's fine. 24:30. Let me just make a note of that then. You know, one thing I want to know more than anything, which is the kind of thing, to be fair, I always want to know when I have a guest.
Yeah.
But it's the kind of thing I never really think about asking. Like, I always forget. But just I know it's going to sound weird, but just what are you into? Like, what kind of stuff interests you?
Video games.
You're a video game man?
Yeah, I like video games. Recently graduated uni, trying to figure out what to do with life.
As we all are.
So, indeed, I imagine that will never end.
Yeah.
But,
we always want more. I think it's a good thing to always be wanting to do something. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
It's when people are just happy to not do anything is an issue.
Sure, I mean, it depends on person to person.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not even
an
an issue, it's just, like, for me personally, that would be an issue for me.
Oh, that's fair, yeah. I feel like I'd get a bit restless myself.
Yeah.
I am envious of people who don't get restless and are just happy to live.
Totally.
Because I feel like if I was just happy to exist, I'd be the happiest person on the planet.
That's where drugs come in. It is, but at the same time, that's not the main thing anyway.
Nah, there's more to life than hallucinogenics.
Oh, I agree with that. I don't do hallucinogenics.
There's more to life than weed.
Very true.
It's true as well. There's video games, the best drug of all.
To be honest, man, I've been proper. I fell out of love with video games for years, because
Did they cheat on you?
What?
It doesn't matter.
What did you say?
I said, did they cheat on you?
They did.
Oh no, with
They got
DVDs?
No, an Xbox.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the real. That's really fucking.
Yeah, getting left for an Xbox, boy.
Yeah, I mean, a PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
It's like, I want an Xbox more than you. It's like a girl leaving you. It's like someone you've been married to for 5 years, and then she leaves you for another girl. You don't know how to process it. You're kind of happy about this, but at the same time, you're like, that's just wrong. They're taking them from me. Not girl on girl is wrong. That's
I feel like I'm not entirely certain where you're going. I feel like you're not entirely certain where you're going with this.
I'm not. I'm trying to figure out where I'm going. I'm waiting to be interrupted.
Anyway, video games.
I was waiting to be interrupted. Yes, so video games. Like, are you where I was trying to get to was I was getting made the point of the procrastination station is what I always call the PlayStation. But now I've found a love for it again during the pandemic and that. Found a love for it.
Yeah.
Go on.
So I wanted to, because there's lots of video essays on YouTube, analysing different video game mechanics and different how different video games, what they do good, what they do badly, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to get in on the market, I suppose. So past couple of weeks, I've been playing a lot of auto games. So basically games that play themselves.
Okay.
So
isn't that a film?
Well, that's the thing, right? Video games are unique in that they're interactive.
They're interactive, yeah.
That's the thing that makes them a video game.
The thing that I never appreciated until the pandemic, that was the different kind of media. I didn't really think about that too much until I went away from it and then experienced it again.
So what's interesting is that there's not a substantial number of video games that have significant amounts of them automated, and they're still good. And they're still fun to play and engaging, so it's why is that? And that's
You've got an example of ones I'd know about.
Yeah, so let's see. Have you heard of a game called Totally Accurate Battle Simulator?
No.
That's okay. Super.
That is totally accurate. Is as far from how I play my games.
Yeah, I mean, it's ironic, the totally accurate bit, because
Okay.
it's like, it's basically like a bunch of like stick men like running at each other and like.
Oh, that sounds
hitting each
amazing.
other. It's amazing. It is.
Okay.
It's so good.
I've got a Stickman game. I don't think it's that though.
Yeah, no, it's not like literal stickmen, but
Oh,
it's the
okay,
easiest way to describe it without
Okay.
like getting up a picture.
No.
But Super Auto Pets. You heard of that one? That's a good one. Team Fight Tactics.
No.
That's like a League of Legends.
Are they all going to be
spin-off.
indie games?
Is League of Legends, is Riot an indie developer? Would you consider Riot an indie developer?
I don't know. No, aren't they the ones that did
League of Legends.
It's like a mobile.
Yeah, so
Developer,
Team
I
Fight
don't know.
Tactics is like a sort of like auto battler spin-off of an auto battle spin-off of like League of Legends.
So is it like a turn-based kind of thing, that kind of stuff?
Kind of. So you it's done in like phases. So you have a phase where you can buy champions from the shop, and then you deploy them on like a hexagonal grid.
Okay.
And then when you fight, like all the fights are automated. So it's all about like deployment and positioning
Oh, okay, I'm with
and
you.
all of that kind of thing.
So I have I love my wrestling. I think I mentioned
yeah.
it. I love my on the new wrestling game that I recently got. There's a mode like My GM, where it's like Football Manager. You go through, you pick all like the lighting, you pick the staging, go through all these different things. You talk to the different people to message you, set up the matches and that, and you can play them. But that's not the point of that mode.
Yeah.
I skipped them all because
you just watch it.
that kind of thing. do you?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm with you.
Yeah, it's that kind of vibe.
Yeah,
Basically.
yeah.
So yeah, I'm hoping to do that. Whether it'll come to fruition or not, who knows? But I'm hoping.
If you want
I'm making decent progress, and I'm playing a lot of fun games doing it.
Yeah,
So
if you want to do something, everyone can do what they want to do if they keep doing it. It's just motivation is a hard thing to keep in your head. It's hard.
it is.
So like shit happens as well. It's just a hard thing to keep going sometimes, but it's a good thing as well. It's a lovely thing.
Yeah, if you're not careful, you'll end up back at procrastination station, and it's not too long before procrastination station leaves you for the Xbox. And
Yep. Trust me. Yep. I've seen it happen.
many a time.
But
it always brings a tear to my eye.
Procrastination is not that bad though, as long as you can acknowledge it. Sometimes it's good to give yourself a bit of time to procrastinate, because I realise that with me. When I'm doing stuff, I need a few different things to do at the same time to work on. But I realise at some point I need time to just step away from it all and procrastinate for a bit, It helps.
Yeah, defo. But I just recently... Have you heard of Persona?
What? Wait,
Persona
that's not
5.
a game? Or...
That is a game, yeah.
Oh, no,
Persona 5,
okay,
yeah.
no.
It's an incredibly long Japanese role-playing game that's like one part like, turn-based RPG.
Yeah.
One part social life simulator. It's like, you've got to like fix society and save the world, but you also have to do your exams.
Oh wow! Okay.
And yeah, it's
like an actual life thing.
actual life sim combined with that, and like the life sim stuff like gives you power ups when you're battling. If you become friends with, let's choose like an early game one. If you become friends with the chemist, she'll be able to sell you like healing items, for example, or that kind of
For a man
vibe.
who's not into drugs, went to a drug use very quickly then.
Yeah,
you
I mean,
get friends
it's
with
true.
a chemist.
Yeah, you can be friends with a chemist.
Well, to be fair, the legal chemists are worse than the illegal ones, in all honesty.
Fair
Well, no,
enough.
they're not. They're fine, but the drugs.
They're just not as strong.
No, they're stronger. That's the problem.
Oh god.
Honestly, man, like proper drugs, like from hospitals and stuff, they're the worst ones.
I imagine if you take them recreationally, yeah, I imagine they are.
Even with but if just looking at how when a doctor prescribes them to you or something, even that quite damaging.
Fair. I mean, that's why some drugs do come with risk. Some medicines come
Every
with
drug has
risk.
a risk, to be fair.
Yeah.
To be fair, that's the thing though, Annie. It's just figuring out. You just need to figure out how they work for you.
What the balance is. Yeah.
It's the same with gaming as well. Figuring out what kind of game works for you. Like I'm not into turn-based RPGs and all that. I like Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
I have a good group of friends that we're all into games, and so more than me. And me more so. I've got into them over the last few years. I used to be a bit before, but and they all love their turn-based RPGs. Like they love Final Fantasy, all of them,
Yeah.
And they try and get me to play, and I'm like, if I want to play a turn-based thing, I'll play chess. The best game in the world. I'll
Chess
play
is
chess.
great.
Chess is awesome, yeah.
It is amazing.
Yeah.
I'm not very good at it, but I do enjoy playing chess.
I'm okay for the first game. I don't have any of those, like when some people play and they have like plans in their head, like beforehand, like certain things. I don't have none of that. But
it's like the French Open. It's like
there's all these different things. Yeah, the Queen's Knuckle.
Yeah, the London Roundhouse.
Yeah, chess is really fun. I love chess, man. It's the best game there is.
It's fun. I do enjoy chess.
I mean, gaming-wise, though, I don't think I've really played that. I mean, the ones I've been playing lately, at the moment, I'm playing Star Wars Force Unleashed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the first, because there's a new one coming out, or just come out.
Is there?
The second one, I don't know if it's already come out or if it's coming out.
I mean, there was 2 of them. I think the second one came out a while ago.
Oh, that's probably it then in that case. Yeah. I'm playing the first one. I'm doing the the PlayStation Plus game catalogue they have now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's lovely. For anyone that hasn't got that, get that. Or if you've got an Xbox, then you've had it for years, basically. So
yeah, I played Persona through Game Pass. It was like a 120-hour game for like a subscription alongside loads of other games. It's pretty good. We're not sponsored, I think. Are we sponsored? We're not sponsored.
If we're sponsored by PlayStation, that would be amazing.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
That would be amazing.
But
no.
Just checking. We're not shills.
We're sponsored by KD Comedy Inc. He's a sexy bastard. And technically, actually, we are sponsored by KD Creative Media Productions, even though that's also run by the same person.
You're sponsoring yourself.
I'm sponsoring myself. I give myself money all the time.
Amazing. And you've got to advertise yourself then. You're legally obligated to drop a KD Comedy advertisement every 5 seconds. And if you don't do it, you will be sent to court by yourself.
By myself, so I'll win and lose at the same time.
Which is like, and then you're paying yourself the legal fees to cover the legal fees.
Oh, that's a good one. I don't know if I can afford his legal fees too.
Can you prosecute yourself? Is that a thing you can do?
Oh, you probably can. I mean, I know that people have legitimately prosecuted God in the past.
Yeah.
As far as the courts are concerned, American courts anyway, demons are real.
Okay.
In the American court, ghosts as well.
Nice.
Like, it's a genuine law.
That
now.
explains what's going on the monitor.
yeah, totally. If you're selling a house and it's haunted, so it's kind of hard to, I don't know how they would quantify that exactly, but, if it's a haunted house and you sell it to someone and don't tell them, then it's illegal, basically. You have to tell them if it's haunted.
Okay, interesting.
It's weird because it's like I said, how do you really prove that or disprove it?
Also,
it's just about public opinion.
Does the ghost give you like reparations?
Like do they class as what's it called when you have like a third party tenant?
Let's call them third party tenant.
We'll go with that.
They're part of the Tennant family. It's third party tenant David Tennant, and that's about it.
Are you into Doctor Who at all?
I was back in the days of David Tennant. Christopher Eccleston was pretty good. David Tennant, obviously, really good.
Yeah.
Matt Smith was pretty good on the whole.
Yeah, I agree.
And like Peter Capaldi and Jodie Whittaker are great actors.
Yeah. I'm the same.
I fell off in the Peter Capaldi era.
Peter
Capaldi
Capaldi
could not get better than Jodie Whittaker because it was the writing.
Yeah, I was going to say Peter Capaldi. I liked him, and I thought he was going to do well, and it kind of disappointed me the whole way through. And I think it could have been better.
Yeah.
But Jodie Whittaker, she was really good, but as you said, it's the writing.
Yeah.
The last, and it might have been the same for Peter Capaldi. I don't know. That might have been it.
For me, it felt it. Like Peter Capaldi had like the odd good episode.
Yeah.
I'm sure Jodie Whittaker did too, but I kind of stopped watching at that point. I've watched like analysis videos basically saying like everything I thought about the Peter Capaldi series applied to the Jodie Whittaker series,
really did.
And worse.
It might have been the same thing. It's just I wasn't paying attention to it until then. Not paying attention to the program. I wasn't paying attention to who was writing it, realising that's what was on because of the videos online. You see them, it's like, oh yeah, that is a good point.
The one series, spin-off series, I don't know how like controversial a hot take this is. It probably isn't. The one like spin-off series of Doctor Who I do want to see though is like a sitcom with I don't remember their names, but it's the Silurian, like the lizard person, like her ninja maid and the Sontaran.
Oh, the ones that he went to, like it was Peter Capaldi, was it?
Like Peter Capaldi in like the first episode of this thing. Like those three, they're like comedy gold. And it was kind of jarring like in the Peter Capaldi episode because it kind of like, even though it was funny, it kind of dragged the scenes out a bit.
Yeah.
So just give them their own series where they can be funny all the time and have it just not be jarring, and it would be amazing.
I'd be down for that completely.
Yeah.
I'd be completely up for
Just
that.
imagine like the Sontarans just getting into trouble because he picks fights with everybody, just like all the time.
Well, because I remember the Sontaran, there was the lizard person. Was that the Sontaran? No, Sontaran was the Sontaran.
Sontaran, yeah. Then
The
there's
potato man.
I think it's Silurian.
Silurian's the lizard one. Who was
so.
the other one? Was just a human? The other one?
She was a human, I
okay.
think. I mean, she might have been an alien for all I know.
Oh,
But,
yeah.
Like, I just remember, like, Ninja Maid is the only description I can give because that's kind of what she was. And it was awesome. Yeah. So, comedy gold, those three. Give me more of them.
How do you feel about, like, the whole Doctor Who thing now, like, with the new series or the new special, isn't it, that's going back to David Tennant now?
Yeah, I'll be honest, I haven't really kept track, and I know that's probably, like, a boring answer, but,
I can understand it.
yeah, like,
Myself.
I'll watch it, I suppose, if it's on, but I'd like,
Well, David Tennant and Catherine Tate again.
okay, cool.
Yeah, because he turned back to David Tennant at the end and was like, I know these teeth.
Yeah.
And that's how it ended.
So he's both like the 10th and 15th Doctor or something? I don't remember.
Whatever it is, yeah.
Yeah, because it's like 14th, like, in terms of the list, but they added a couple of Doctors in.
They did. They added something like the War Doctor.
But then wasn't there like a billion of them before the first one? Didn't they make that a plot point?
Oh,
the
there was
Jodie
something
Whittaker series.
Yeah, I don't know if it's quite. I don't know. Something about she was a child of time or something.
Yeah.
And there was things before her. Yeah, fuck knows. That's the
I
right.
don't know.
I'm going to ignore his stuff though.
I mean, Doctor Who lore is confusing at best.
It's like when I watched Star Wars, like the last 3 films that came out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just ignored the middle one now. I'm just going to ignore that for the rest of my life. And it doesn't exist.
I mean, can you actually? I think thinking about it, like the only thing of like any last, I suppose Snoke. Spoilers. Snoke dies in The Last Jedi, doesn't he?
Yeah,
Snoke dies and
me.
Luke Skywalker dies, and beyond that, very little changes. You could probably just skip over it, and the story remains mostly the same.
Yeah, very little change other than the main bad guy they set up in the whole of Force Awakens gets killed very early.
Yeah,
that's all. That's all.
That was just like a bit disappointing, really.
Because J.J. Abrams did the first one, and then Ryan Johnson came in for the second one, and J.J. Abrams came back for the third one.
Yeah,
and it was like. It just seems so strange to me because it was like you had to just bring Palpatine back for no reason.
Yeah, which I suppose was getting set up, or maybe it wasn't getting set up. Maybe Snoke was set up to be like the big person, and because Snoke was dead, was like,
yeah, that's exactly what I think.
Well, I suppose Kylo Ren can't be the big bad guy because we want to redeem him. So I guess we bring back good old Palpatine, and in the opening text, no less, because the first 2 lines of that opening scroll is "Palpatine lives!"
They just appeared. Like, didn't even make no video or anything. Just Palpatine lives.
Yeah,
wherever he was. Yeah, I forgot that.
So I imagine like when like Palpatine revealed himself to the galaxy, he just did it in like a sort of like YouTube vlog style video, and it just like boots up, and he's there, and he's like, "Palpatine lives!"
Pop pop.
Bang bang. Subscribe. Pay to my Patreon. Higher tier Patreon guys, don't get blown up by my Death Star cannons.
This is an unpopular opinion, and I know it is, but I don't mind it. I was a fan of the prequel trilogy.
Okay, yeah.
Bits and bobs anyway, not all of it. But more than anything, this is the main thing to say unpopular opinion, I was quite a fan of Jar Jar Binks.
You know what? I can say it. I can say it.
Wait, does that mean you can see it because of me? I don't think that's a compliment still.
You know what? I was going to agree with you, but you've twisted it now. You've twisted it. Yeah, Jar Jar Binks never really annoyed me. I understand why he's annoying. But I think it's...
They shouldn't have made him like...
fine.
They shouldn't have made him like... He was like one of the political leaders at one point, wasn't he?
Yeah.
For the princess. They shouldn't have done that.
So he got too much screen time, I
Well,
suppose.
that was like the second and third, and we didn't see him that much. It was like an excuse to have him on screen.
Yeah.
Which, in the same way, I'm fine with those all. I am kind of
You
fine
get
with
more
it,
Jar Jar, so...
and I'm not going to complain for more
But
Jar Jar.
I find that, like, the actual overall story and the world building and the setting of the prequel trilogy is, like, really, really good.
Yeah.
The movies, however, that actually tell that story and show that setting are a bit hit and miss.
I can understand that, yeah.
Like, they're not the worst movies on the planet.
You're younger than me, so these for me were like peak, like me being a kid.
Yeah.
Like, so, you know, I watched them, like, they're nostalgic for me.
Fair dues, fair
So,
dues.
if I watched them back, I'd probably agree with you more.
Yeah. But the actual story that's told is pretty good. And, like, Star Wars The Clone Wars, like the animated series.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about
That's a good series, and it's set in that time period. And, you know, lots of extended media was set in that time period because, yeah, like, the actual lore, setting, world building, blah, 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 all of that's really cool. The actual movies themselves were a bit... meh.
Loads of it's been taken away, though. There was loads, like, wasn't it after the episode 6? Was that the original ones?
Yeah, so, like, now it's 4, 5, and 6, the first three, yeah.
Yeah, 4, 5, 6 are the first three, yeah. So, like...
It's very simple.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Very
4
simple,
is
yeah.
1, 2 is 5.
It goes 4,
5
5,
is 2.
6, 1,
2, 3, 7, 8, 9.
Obviously!
And also there's the Clone Wars movie as well, which is like 2.5, but also 5.5
the
when you
Clone
stop
Wars
and
was
think
the
about
episode
it.
2.
I
mean, not the animated Clone Wars.
Yeah, the animated Clone Wars movie,
okay.
yeah, which I saw in cinemas, and yeah, I don't remember if it was any good or not, but I recall enjoying it at the time.
I make a point of, I'm a big cinephile. I love my films.
Yeah.
Like, I'm one of those people that would prefer to just go to the cinema on my own.
Okay, yeah.
And I do regularly, many times. I enjoy it.
Yeah, I've heard it's good to do.
Yeah, man, if you want to watch a film more, like, I've been on dates, like, even when I was younger, I've been on dates with, like, people, like, in the cinema and that, and when, you know, people try to do things and that, I'm like, I am here to watch the film. Like,
yeah.
And the other date's
watching
cool.
the film together.
Yeah, I am watching this
Like,
film. I don't
wanna
care if
hug
you're
me?
here, like, you can leave.
Yeah.
I'm watching this film. I like films. But, what was I going to say then?
Do you stay to the end of the credits? Are you someone
film
who's... Yeah, if it's a Marvel film, I will stay to the end of the
course I will,
credits.
yeah.
If it's a Disney film, I probably would as well, because sometimes they do things.
No,
It's a Disney thing.
Those, so.
And let's face it, every film is a Disney film nowadays.
A lot of them, yeah.
A lot of them, yeah.
Like Marvel, I love the stuff that Disney's done with Marvel. I really like that. Some people still complain about it. Or I like it, man.
I like it. I mean, I feel like, admittedly, I haven't actually seen many Marvel movies since Endgame. The only two I've seen
fair.
are... Because, like, a pandemic happened, and I just haven't really kept up with movies.
And it's the next bit as well, so you have to kind of get to it. You know, once
Yeah.
you get interested, then you'll probably watch them back.
I've only seen, is it No Way Home? The third Spider-Man one, and Morbius.
The first one? Third?
The third Spider-Man,
yeah.
and
You say
the
Morbius,
second third Spider-Man, not the original third Spider-Man.
Yeah,
because Spider-Man 3 is the third Spider-Man, but
Yeah.
it's not the third Spider-Man I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Although the Spider-Man from Spider-Man 3 is in this second, third Spider-Man film.
And also the one who only had two, isn't there?
Exactly, yeah. He didn't get a third. So I suppose this is also his Spider-Man 3.
Yeah,
in
yeah.
this third
Yeah.
Spider-Man film. And the Spider-Man from Spider-Man 3, this is actually Spider-Man 4 for him.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
quite,
actually, yeah,
it's
you're
quite
right, yeah.
simple once you lay it out on a spreadsheet.
Yeah.
But you've got to keep track of this because it's incredibly important.
How did you feel about the different Spider-Man? Like,
I didn't know, so I didn't like I try to avoid trailers for films I know I'm going to watch. So I had like no clue that that's what the whole point of the movie was.
Yeah.
And
I've heard things, but I try to do the same thing. If it's a film I really want to watch, especially a Marvel one, I'll ignore.
Yeah. So when I saw like Dr. Octopus like pop out for like the first time, I swear spoilers. I was like, oh, so this is what this film is going to be. Oh, okay, I like that. That's pretty cool.
That's all the arrows said. They never showed it. It was a surprise for everyone. They never showed that the other Spider-Man were going to come.
Okay, fair. Yeah, but like I
It was
avoided that.
rumours, you know.
Didn't know, and very much
You
enjoyed.
didn't even know about Doc Ock or anything?
No.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like when I saw Dr. Octopus, I feel like I had seen something, but like I'd
You
completely
weren't
forgotten.
completely sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd completely
It could have
forgotten
been a
it.
new version of Doc Ock for
Yeah.
Yeah. It was really good though, man. I love the fact that it was that whole film was just fan service, and that's not a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like straight away, like the Green Goblin, they're like the one thing that I said the same thing too back then. Like when that first came out, it's like you've got William Dafoe, one of the best facial actors in the world. It's like he's amazing. It's like him and Jim Carrey are two of the best facial actors ever for different reasons.
Yeah.
And then they bring him into Spider-Man 1, and he spends most of the time when he's bad guying in a mask. It doesn't even change. Like, at least the reason I said Jim Carrey as well is because he had the same thing when he was the Grinch.
Mm-hmm.
But at least his mask kind of moved with his face a bit, not
Yeah.
perfectly, but obviously Green Goblin not at all. So one of the first things he did in No Way Home was smash the mask, and he just had it off the whole time.
Yeah.
Because that's what we wanted. That's all we wanted.
We just wanted his face.
Yeah, man. He's got an evil face.
Evil. But yeah, so I saw No Way Home, and I also saw.
Shang-Chi.
No, I didn't see Shang-Chi.
Don't blame you. Eternals.
I've not. The only other one I've seen is Morbius. I think. I don't think I've seen.
Oh, that's nothing to see you anyway. So.
Is it not? It's
No,
its own thing.
That's the Sony universe. Like, well,
okay.
technically it's MCU, because what is it now? At the end of the second Venom film,
Yeah.
which is the Sony universe again,
Yeah.
he was like, "Oh, what's happening?" And he got thrown into somewhere, and he was like that whole thing with he got took to that universe where Spider-Man was.
Okay.
And during No Way Home, when everyone got brought in.
Yeah, I remember that. There was an
Yeah.
after credit scene with Venom, wasn't there?
Yeah. So at the end of his film before that, he got brought into that.
Oh, okay.
And then obviously he caught up during the Spider-Man film, and he got sent back. But that's that universe, so they're still not connected because he didn't see him at all.
That's how they're explaining
they
the
are-
different companies.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it looks like they're all canon in the same.
They're all
thing
together, but
in
they're
the
different
multiverse.
universes,
Yeah.
which is kind of awesome. To be
Yeah,
fair,
that's clever.
that's a really cool way to do because that makes sense with the comics.
Yeah. So I haven't really kept up. So I have no idea how good this latest phase of
I don't
Marvel
think it's been that much
films
more.
are.
I think anyone you've missed.
I've not seen Black Widow.
That was
I've
that was
not
a prequel
seen-
more than anything. It doesn't mean anything
Yeah.
to the story.
Not seen Eternals.
Tony, I haven't watched that either. I think they're dropping that, so I don't think you even need to bother. You've not seen Multiverse of Madness?
Not seen that either.
That's one of the ones to watch.
Okay.
That's brutal, man. It's one of them ones where I remember watching Endgame and thinking, this is a 12A, yet like 5 minutes into it, you're chopping Thanos' head off.
Yeah.
But then Multiverse of Madness is a 12A too. My God, Scarlet Witch.
Gets Grizzly.
She goes on a murder spree.
Nice.
Like, legitimately.
Fair dues.
The one I will say, because this means nothing, it's like, do you know Black Bolt?
I know of Black Bolt, yeah.
He's in there, he pops up at one point in a different universe, and she walks up to him and she was like, basically, he wanted to say something, and he was like, because she morphed his face down like in Matrix, he had no mouth,
Yeah.
and as he went to say something, he was like, and then he just reverberated back to him and blew his head up.
Oh dear.
It was so fucking brutal. There's so many brutal bits in that film, man.
Gosh dang. Oh, you're pinging.
Yeah, I'm pinging. What the hell's going on?
I don't know what is going on. You're on Facebook. GURPS Gma. He's sending you a message.
Oh, okay.
Go
away, GURPS.
He's crashing the
We
podcast.
are trying to record, GURPS.
He's crashing
You're coming next month. Go away.
He's advertising his stand-up comedy game show. He's coming. He's got free advertisement space. I'll be on that March 16th.
He's coming on the 9th of February, so he'll be there first.
Nice.
You're on March 16th.
I'm on March 16th.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
okay. I'm going to get on there again because I really enjoyed it too.
It's a fun time.
Yeah.
I do enjoy the stand-up comedy game show. How long have we been going, KD? I don't know.
52 minutes.
52 minutes. Oh, cool.
I need a wee again. It's the
You
worst
need a
part,
wiggle.
though. Yeah, man. It's the thing. As soon as I drink anything, I have a baby bladder anyway.
Okay.
Like I always do. I don't know why, but as soon as I drink a little bit, it's worse. Can task any.
I mean, to be fair, that's the same with most people. Every moment they drink, they need to pee.
Yeah.
It's how
I
it
haven't done
works.
that much. It was just worse for me. Like I've measured it with my other mates. Like I have a fucking baby bladder, man.
Yeah. So welcome back to the ASMR channel. I know we were interrupted by a podcast section, but it's now back to what we were really all here for. ASMR. I don't know what ASMR actually means, and I'll be honest, I don't know how to ASMR. Why don't we figure it out together? Oh, he's back. Nope, nothing at all.
No.
No.
I'll put these on, but I'm interested to go back and listen to this. Nathan Parrish. Do you know Nathan Parrish at all?
Name rings a bell.
He's a comic as well, you know, he does different stuff. But me and him do a podcast like every week, but we had a few break over the last couple of Christmas and that.
Yeah.
That goes along with this one. It's Killed Him a Comedy, and he does that every single time whenever I go out the room. Like, he doesn't mention it, and I'll come back in and I'll go to record and I'll look back at it and I'll like just hear this long story of stuff that he's come out with.
Amazing.
And I'm like, every now and then I'm like, you know, I'm going to keep that in.
We're not editing that one out. Fair dues. So if you do edit it out, this section's going to be very confusing to all the ears. What are we talking about? I don't know.
Oh, I will roll in a second as well for the walk back.
That's alright.
Do you know about what's his fucking name now? I forgot his first name. Andrew Tate. Have you seen that stuff?
I have heard about Andrew Tate. I heard that he bought pizza from the wrong pizzeria, and now he's going to jail.
What?
The reason... So, for the Romanian authorities to arrest Andrew Tate, they had to know that Andrew Tate was in the country.
Yeah.
And how they found out that Andrew Tate was in the country was when one of his videos, it was the video where he was replying to Greta Thunberg, I think, because they had they flung shit at each other on Twitter. He had a pizza box from a Romanian pizza company that only operates in Romania, so they knew from the pizza box that he was in Romania.
I don't think he hid that though. They knew he lived in Romania.
They had to like know for certain or something like that.
Well, know that he was definitely there.
I don't remember the exact.
But he was definitely there at the time. Like,
yeah.
That whole thing to me is weird. Like, as far as Andrew Tate goes, I mean, in my opinion, Andrew Tate, he is just someone that I don't think he even believes all of what he says.
Yeah.
Maybe a part of it, you know. But I think the majority of what he says is just to go viral.
Almost certainly.
Because, I mean, when you look at, like, Facebook or Twitter or anything, the stuff that gets viral, and people complain about how, like, negative stuff comes up on their feed all the time, like, stuff that annoys them and that, but that only comes up on their feed because that's the stuff they click on the most. It's just how human psychology is.
Whenever there's a stupid post on Facebook, I will read the comments to see like how many stupid people there are in the comments, and I'll just like lose a little bit of faith in humanity every time I do it. But
I know exactly what you mean.
I'll enjoy it.
Generally, though, at least the people that comment, it seems, are the people that are that minority. Like, I don't think there's more. Like, when it comes to like PC culture and all that kind of stuff, it's like. Or anything, like the portion of people that are the loudest are normally the smallest portion, they're just the loudest as well, you know.
So like...
But the idea of PC stuff, you know, like when it comes to like comedians and stuff, like I'm sure you probably hear from other people, like, who are worried about saying certain things as a comedian and that. But when you actually think about it, all the gigs you've been to, how many people have you really met that are offended by these things?
Yeah, I mean...
Very few and far between.
I try to keep my stuff reasonably, I don't know if safe is the right word, but I feel like it's good practice in general to be, from like just a pragmatic point of view, to be inclusive of everybody, because if you're inclusive of everyone loves you.
Yeah, but I mean, being inclusive of everyone means taking the piss out of everyone. That's what that means in a comedy show.
Yes, that is one way of looking at it. And there were definitely
That's literally what it is.
Like, there are comedians who rode that line, but
I mean, because if you go into a comedy show, the idea is everyone's there to have fun and make a joke out of. And generally, I know quite a few like disabled people, quite a few different kinds of people that have been to gigs or been to things in general, and it just bothers them that like when someone's joking around with stuff, not necessarily on a gig, but that they won't joke around with their thing or whatever. You know, when you're in a group, you want to just
It depends from person to person.
Yeah,
and
of course.
Often, like motivation, often plays a big part of
of course,
it. Also. I feel like if you're going to make jokes about sensitive topics, you better be really, really funny and also like have like an accurate point to make, because often I have autism. I'm going to use autism as an example.
Right.
And when people make jokes about autism, I tend not to get annoyed that they're making jokes about autism. I tend to get annoyed that their understanding of autism, that the premise of the joke is wonky. When they reduce
but they don't
autism,
understand it, do they?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, if you don't understand it, don't take the mick out of it.
Everyone can make a joke out of whatever they want,
Whereas,
even if it's something they haven't had. Like I'm of the opinion I can talk about women having abortions, for example. That's been a big thing lately. I don't think there's anything wrong with a guy talking about that, not having a choice, not making a decision. But anyone can talk about things.
Anyone can talk about things.
And that's the same.
And I'll judge them on the merit of what they're saying, rather than who they are when they say it. If that makes sense. No.
I mean, no. That's the opposite way. You should take into account who the person is if you know them, and then think about that person in regards to what they're saying. Too many people. That's like saying you should take it out of context all the time.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? You need to put it in context of the person and how they mean something.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. I didn't mean...
I know what you mean, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't mean, like, take it out of context.
No, I know what you mean,
than, because, ultimately what they're saying will be in part informed by who they are.
Yeah, of course, definitely, yeah. They need to think about it as well, because like you said, they need to actually think about it in a smart way as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
And to an extent, it's fair enough to judge, like, who they are when they say it, kind of thing. I tend not to try and gatekeep when it comes to who can have an opinion on what, providing that opinion is informed.
You're fucking right there, man. Like, a lot of people try to do jokes about certain things, and it's like, certain things you need to actually think about it, say it in a smart way.
Yeah.
Like, not that I feel like you should because it's wrong, but today's climate, you need to.
Yeah. Like, for me, like, if you're going to make a joke about autism, go ahead, but make sure you know what autism is before you make a joke about it. Because you'll just annoy me if you think autism is just being socially awkward, because it's not just that.
Yeah. Completely, I understand exactly what you mean.
Yeah. So that's more the kind of thing.
Yeah. It's not the case that you're joking about it. It's the case of you're joking about something you don't understand.
You don't understand, and therefore you've said something stupid.
You make assumptions.
Harmful because it's propagating like a harmful idea, right?
Well, it had to be. I mean, no one's going to listen to that person anyway saying that one thing unless they're Dave Chappelle, you know.
I mean, sure, but
like, you just be like, you're being dumb. Stop being dumb.
Yeah, that would be what most people do, which is fair enough.
That was
that was the political arc of the KD Comedy Podcast.
No, you're fucking right there, man. It's true. It's same with anything. Like, I think people need to like really think about things that they say, but at the same time, not be afraid to say certain things.
True.
Like, I don't worry about how other people take the things that I say, as long as I know they're okay to say. And I'm pretty confident now with. Well, I know I'm not a dick. I know that I'm not racist. I know I'm not all these other things, for example. Mm-hmm. So I know whatever I say, it's okay. Like, the stuff that I'm saying, unless I obviously realise it's wrong when I say it. But I'm not going to say that. Why would I?
Yeah, I mean,
I'm only going to say stuff that I kind of...
There's also a difference between being a thing and doing a thing, right? So, like, you can... To use, like, being a dick as an example, right? Like, everyone has been a dick in their life.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't mean that everybody is a dick.
Yeah.
Like, I've been a dick. I hope that people wouldn't consider me a dick.
Sure, we can do anything.
We're using dicks as an analogy, typical men, right? But it's the same with everything. You can you can do a sexist thing without being sexist at heart, either because you didn't know it, or you were just being an asshole that one time, or that kind of thing.
Or you're just being you're just doing satire, that's all.
Sure, but you've got to be very careful when it comes to satire like that.
You don't, but when people look at something, and if you look at any gig, if you took a person's stand-up set and wrote it down as a transcribe, it would look terrible.
I mean, I wrote all of. I tend to write all of my stand-up comedy sets like.
Same. Yeah. Same. If somebody else saw it from an asshole point of view, to them, don't know that he might look terrible or mine would look terrible.
I mean, mine's just on a Google Doc on my phone, so it probably does look terrible, yeah.
No, I mean, the stuff that, like, you're saying, you know, if you just read it off, like, without the way, because a lot of it is how you're saying it, isn't it?
Yeah.
The tone you're putting in. Like, I could say something that's really offensive, or it's really fucked up, but it's like the way I'm saying it, it's like...
ironic in the time. I get yeah, I get that. I can
see you written
understand that.
down,
Yeah.
you don't get any of that, you know.
Yeah, that is a point. That is a point. Yeah. So yeah, it all matters.
It's super interesting, man. Like, the psychology behind comedy is amazing.
Oh, defo.
Yeah, I think that's the main thing. I love, like, and it's nice, like, the comedy people as well. Or, I'm sure you're quite new to it, so in the comedy scene, like, does it kind of feel like a lot of the people are similar? Or not similar, but like...
No, I feel it's...
weird in their own way.
Yeah, I think it's... I feel like perhaps has a way to go in terms of diversity, but people I've seen, there's been like loads of different styles of like comedians and...
I mean, people are weird,
like different backgrounds, and I think that's a great thing.
Oh, not many different backgrounds now. We don't need to get into the diversity fucking checklist right now. It's not what we're here for, Jordi.
We've
We're
done
not
the
here for
political
diversity
art.
checklist.
Fine, I'll just say I think it's a good thing, and we'll move on.
I think diversity is a good thing too. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, well, we agree, and that's good.
Somebody said to me recently, he was like, you know, you haven't had like many girls on your podcast. And I was like, yeah, you know what? It's almost like there's not many girls in the comedy scene.
Yeah, so I feel like
weird, isn't it?
It needs there needs to be sort of like work to be done to encourage everybody to like get involved and stuff like that. And I feel like it's being done.
If people want to do the thing, they'll do it.
Yeah.
Everyone gets in this idea that it's like, say for example, with girls in comedy.
Yeah.
It's like you think people say like we should be making it so more girls can come into comedy and act. It's like if they want to come into comedy, they can come into comedy. Like no one's stopping them. And people, I think most of the people in our scene and what we've seen would be open and supporting to girls coming into comedy too. None of that exists. So there's just a lot less girls that want to do it. It's just that simple.
Fair. I mean, I'm not entirely certain of the entire like sociological
It's just looking at numbers.
reasonings.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
Looking at the numbers, like when you organise gigs, for example, and you say, you know, like everyone, let me know if you want to come on and act. Like proportionally, it's literally about like not even 10%. I'd say are females.
It's true. There's a lot. No.
Just
But
the lovely thing is as well, though, from one thing I've seen from doing comedy as well, nobody would be bothered about a certain person or this person. Everyone's like 97% of people.
Yeah,
are very supportive.
I feel like a lot of people are supportive of everyone. I've met some really cool people doing comedy, and
there are some great people, to be fair.
And just want that to continue. I also find that everybody knows each other, which is so weird.
Yeah.
Like people will bring up.
I don't like that.
People will bring up like people's names, like just completely, like independently of like the social circle, so to speak. I don't know if that made sense as a sentence, but
I understand what
there we go.
Yeah.
Like
I get bored up by people that don't like me, and I get told by people that do like me regularly.
So there you go. So it does make me wonder. It's like, what are people saying about me? Like,
it's not a bad thing, man. If you're, as far as I'm concerned, if you're like somewhere in the thing or just in life in general, when people are talking about you, you're not even there. It's like it's not the worst thing in the world.
I suppose it's not. No,
you know what I mean,
I've no idea if people are or not. I imagine probably not. But they're probably saying, "Oh, Jordi has that fucking weirdo. Yeah, the weirdo with the hair. Yeah, he needs to get that cut. He does."
Oh, you sure you want to get that cut though? Because that's some nice hair, man.
Yeah,
you could just go for my kind of style. Like I've got like it needs to be shaved.
It'll grow back. It'll grow back.
Long on top, short on the
sides
though. That would look cool on you. But have you tied your hair up?
I have in the past, yeah. So I mean, you know,
I imagine that would look quite cool with you tied up.
Let's not take that out of context. That's me with my hair back.
Oh, you know what? I didn't even realise that was you.
I mean, that's why my face is there.
No, I didn't even realise at all. You look so different with your glasses off and your hair tied up.
Yeah.
It's a nice look.
Yeah, so there you go for the YouTube viewer.
Oh, yeah. You just send me the picture, I can put it up.
I could do it with that.
Have you ever tried contacts or anything?
Yeah, I used to a little bit. I only have like a couple of pairs left, and they're kind of pricey, and I don't really need them.
Where'd you go from? Because I have contacts too. Like,
I just went to my local opticians back in
don't do
Coventry.
that. Go on. I can get a name for you. It's either Vision Express or there's this other one I use.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need, as soon as you got your prescription, and they have to give you anyway. Like you can just ask them for it as soon as you've done your test.
Yeah.
Just go online and do it.
Fair.
And honestly, most of them are better quality. I go Specsavers, but the ones I've got online are better quality.
So I kind of went through a phase of like whenever I did a performance that didn't need my glasses, I'd put in contacts, and then I kind of realised that my vision is good enough for like being on stage without glasses, that I kind of didn't need to spend money on contacts.
I went the other way, weirdly.
Fair. Like it's different for everyone.
Yeah.
And you know, my prescription's only like -2.5, -2.25, so it's not
too bad then.
not too bad. I can see up to like half a metre clearly, and then everything gets like a bit blurry. Also, these glasses are kind of broken. They're like functional, but you'll notice they slip down my face. So very often I've been like looking over my glasses.
Just on stuff, and they just got a bit wide.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Or you step on them, as I did.
Yeah.
Somehow, don't ask how. I don't remember, but it did happen.
I'll regularly like fall asleep or something and forget my glasses are on, and it would just fall down or something. Like, the amount of times, like normally when I'm sat here, these computers are like, you know, here like me with a little corner. So I'm editing or something. I was doing it like last night. I was editing so late doing James Brogan's podcast.
Yeah.
Because it was like so long, and I fell asleep part way through in this chair here.
Yeah.
Woke up and I was like, why can't I see? I didn't even realise I fell asleep in that moment. And then I had to find my glasses. Well, because I'm -4.5 is my eyes. I'm blind.
You were doing a Valma.
Yeah, I was definitely doing a Valma.
Oh dear.
That's a new series now, isn't it? A bit of a spin-off.
I've heard it's cursed.
Yeah, what? I didn't even know until I saw people complaining about it.
Yeah, so all I know, I saw like a 10-minute video being like, Valma is awful. Okay. And I haven't actually seen the series. I have no particular desire to see the series.
Yeah.
But I can confirm from what I've seen that it looks cursed.
What do you mean cursed?
As in like... So it's like a quote-unquote mature show.
Oh, is it?
But it's mature in like the most immature way. Like the idea of mature being like sex and nudity and gross out humour and excessive swearing and drugs and stuff like that.
Oh, Valma doesn't get naked, does she?
I've no idea, but I know that Valma's dad's girlfriend does get naked while she's pregnant and then poses for photographs while her unborn child. I'm not making any of this up.
I believe.
I feel like this should have a content warning before it, but like
at the end, most people aren't going to watch
like
this
the belly, and yeah, it's.
That's crazy. I never would have ever thought that from... Because I saw that advertised, I never would have thought adulty stuff from any Scooby-Doo type thing.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
Also, Scooby is dead, apparently.
Oh!
So, who knows? Or isn't born yet? I don't know. They're not in the show.
If he's not born yet, then that just means that we're learning that Velma had a very dark life before she came to that mystery machine.
Apparently. But I really... it just looked cursed. So I'm like, yeah, I feel like I'll skip. And I'll just stick to watching What's New Scooby-Doo and Scooby-Doo Where Are You?
Simple Plan as well. I love their song for that. Simple Plan theme song for it.
Is that What's New Scooby-Doo?
Yeah,
We're coming after you.
They're in the song, they're in the cartoon as well. Simple Plan. Really good band.
Nice.
From like the old days. They're very emo-y as well. Like, you know, the one song is all about being a kid and not killing yourself. So, that's really happy.
That's a good message.
Yeah, it is a good message.
Yeah.
Don't kill yourself.
Yeah, that was
a beautiful
that
message.
was the message of my show. At least no one died. To bring it back to the beginning.
There you go.
The entire show was about. That's why it's like at least no one died. It's like, okay, the show may have been terrible, but we're all still alive.
It's a good thing to end on because I don't know why. I feel like you might have an opinion on this.
Do I just strike you as the opinionated type?
On this one, yeah.
Okay, go on.
Have you seen? Because I find this really interesting.
Yeah.
Have you seen any of the Prince Harry stuff?
No, I've heard a bit about it.
Okay.
I heard that he killed a bunch of people. The royal family was
He
shit to
admitted
him,
to killing 24
and
people in...
he got frostbite on his dick, and that's all I've heard. And people are going, "Will the frostbite penis ruin the royal family?" And I'm like, I mean, the royal family has kind of already shouted itself for a little while
Prince
now.
Andrew ruined that.
Yeah, I mean, if like
no one before,
if the
didn't he?
accusations of being, if credible accusations of being a paedophile, because I don't think he was ever convicted, so I can't,
He wasn't
because it was
convicted, no.
it would be slander.
And
But
maybe-
there were credible accusations that Prince Andrew was a paedophile,
And
and
he-
that didn't ruin the royal family.
They still
I
want him
feel
extradited to
like
America.
they could weather the storm.
Yeah.
I don't think the frostbite penis is going to really do much to.
To me, it was crazy, just more than anything, looking at all these people complaining about this guy. He's just a guy. Imagine just a guy just talking about his own life, because all he's doing in that, all the quotes is just him talking about his experiences, the stuff he's done. Now, like, you're ruining the royal family by saying all this stuff. Like, that's just him. Like, chill.
You could make the argument that, you know, a bit like when you have to be professional, you wouldn't like shit talk at the promoters or whatever.
He didn't choose a bit.
Like, even if, you know, so it's the same
Actually,
kind of thing
I
as a
will shit
prince.
talk a few promoters.
No. As a no, won't allow it.
You're not going to allow that.
No,
In that case, then.
no. In that case, then it's time to end. But because he is a prince, you could argue that he has a professional
I know what you mean.
responsibility to the royal family.
But then it gets to the point of like, you know, because you're born into it as well, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? You don't have any choice as well.
There is that argument
Hard
to be
thing,
made.
yeah.
But yeah, I feel like I don't know the details myself. I feel like there was some genuine speaking out about moments of abuse, which probably should be taken more seriously than they are.
The one weird thing was he went back on, you know, remember before with the Oprah thing, they said about how the royal family, basically said the royal family were racist, talking about the skin colour of the child and that.
Yeah.
And this next interview we did recently, he was like, no, I never said that. I just said they were having a discussion about the skin colour. I never said they were racist. It's like, well, hold on. Let's just think about that for a moment. To be fair, I don't think they're necessarily racist. No, that itself doesn't tell me they're racist, but it tells me they have racial tendencies, and they're like, you know, maybe not as you know, like as forward thinking as other people, because they're thinking about the colour. The colour shouldn't really mean anything at all, but they're thinking about it. Doesn't mean they're saying she's terrible because she might be a different colour. That's racism, you know?
Yeah.
But acknowledging it's not racism. It's just, why are we even talking about this? Or why does it matter?
Yeah, it's the entire situation is dodgy. The entire
Yeah, it's all
situation is dodgy. Just
What were the other things that came out with it?
why would you even speculate that? It's so weird.
Him banging, that's one of the things that I thought was funniest.
Yeah.
He lost his virginity behind a pub in London, I think it was, with some random woman.
Well, it's the classic London life, isn't it?
You gotta respect Prince Harry, man. Going out drugging all
Man
the
of the
time.
people he is.
Drugging all the time, like he took more fucking hallucinogenics than me.
God
Oh
damn.
my god.
Yeah, he didn't actually have a frostbite penis, he just hallucinated
Yeah,
the
he just thought
entire
it was.
thing.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
What was it? It was a frost nip. It was what it actually was. It wasn't frost bitten. It was a frost nip. Because I've seen a lot of the leaks that came out from the book. They're taken way out of context, and some of the stuff's changed as well because it's the Spanish one they got,
Yeah.
and some of the stuff was lost in translation too. Because even Spain, I don't think have all the words that we have because we got a very weird language.
English
yeah.
English is strange.
It is a very weird language. Like we have words, you know, like sound exactly the same with different spellings and different meanings.
Jordi.
Jordi? Yeah.
I mean, actually, I say that, but the way my name is spelled is Catalonian, so apparently it's Catalonian for battle.
Oh.
Yeah, and I found that out when I went to Barcelona, and someone was like, "Oh, your name's Catalonian." I was like, "Is it?" It's like, "Yeah."
That's cool.
I thought it was Hebrew for down flowing, so
It could be more than one.
it's true.
Yeah.
But I will take the Catalonian for battle because it sounds a lot
It does
cooler.
sound cooler.
And I saw a store around the corner from the big cathedral that I always forget the name of in Barcelona. Massive cathedral.
See, I forgot to say that earlier. I'm a huge fan of theology. I love everything to do with religion.
Yeah.
I love all the backstories. I'm super interested in that. If I was going to go back to university now, so I wanted to say this earlier.
Yeah.
If I was going to go back to university now and do anything, even though I did media and all that, I'd want to go and do that. There's no point because you can't get a job from it.
No, you could become a priest or a theologian, or you
I could become a priest, definitely.
Write a story analysing different theologies. But
But
around the corner from that big cathedral, there's like a random store, and the random store was just called Jordi, and it was spelt like my name.
Oh, okay.
And that was like the first time I'd seen my name independently. Written on something. It was surreal, actually.
I've got a mate called Jordi. Well, no, Jordan, but he calls himself Jordi.
Okay.
And he's by the River Wye at the end.
Yeah, some people do that as well.
Yeah.
Like,
I like the I
I've
more.
never met anyone who spells it Jordi.
I like that more though. I like the weird
cool.
names.
The only issue is that when I say follow Jordi Evans on social media, nobody knows how to fucking spell it.
Should make that point then. Follow Jordi Evans. Jordi with an I.
With an
Make that your thing.
and a J.
Yeah. Well, I think they'd assume
in
that.
order.
I think they'd assume the J.
When I say that, people sometimes put a G.
Gordy.
Yeah. So
Well, then people probably can't work the internet in that case then.
Yeah.
They'll probably get confused with a door.
Maybe, but I'll tell you what, I'll end on this analogy, right, this little story. So I used to play Warhammer.
I like that kind of stuff.
And
Never played it, but I like it.
I actually called up Warhammer World to book a table to play Warhammer at Warhammer World with my dad. So I called up. I was like, hi, my name's Jordi, spelled Jordi. And they were like, cool, your table number 7 is booked for you for this time. And I was like, cool, amazing. Turn up to Warhammer World, and I go and I see table number 7, so I know it's my table.
Yeah.
And under it says, this table is reserved for Gordy. And it's like, oh. And my dad is like, this isn't your name. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but I know this is our table.
I don't understand how they did that, man.
It's probably just terrible phone connection. I just specified how to spell it. And
What? To be fair, like my actual name's Carl. But
Yeah.
I go by KD for the comedy stuff. Because I used to go by Carl. And then whenever somebody would ask me my name, like to go and say, I tell them it, and it would come out in all these different ways. It's happened before in my life, because my list probably, like, it's come out as Chris, Kyle. To be Kyle and Kyle is a bit more understandable. Chris, I don't know where that comes from. People just figure out that name. People think my name's Khan a lot of the time. So there's very something obvious about the look of me that tells you that my name's probably not Khan.
Khan. You're just like Star Trek, that's all it is.
Yeah, that's what it is.
You have a lot of rack to get out.
And then I thought, you know what, I'm going to call myself Katie because I've always liked that anyway.
Yeah.
Some people I know call me that anyway. And I thought, I'm going to do that because nobody can get that wrong when they introduce me on stage.
But KD, how do you spell KD?
KD.
Oh my gosh, you're right.
It's Carl Daniel, that's my actual name.
Okay, fair enough.
But one of the first times I used that anyway, though, I went on stage and I think it was the Holly Bush. I might be wrong, but I swear it was the Holly Bush.
Yeah.
And I got introduced as... No, it was because it was Bushfest. Yeah. No, it wasn't that I got introduced. They tagged me afterwards as JD Hinken.
Oh dear. Well, they were only one letter off.
Yeah, I guess. It wasn't too bad. The main letter, though.
Main letter, the big K.
Okay. Right then, so if we're at the end then, the main thing to do right now, my friend, tell them your plugs.
My plugs? That sounds suggestive.
Yes, indeed.
Well, if we're talking about plugs, I really like sinks.
I prefer a toilet myself.
Toilets, they're difficult. If you plug a toilet, something's gone wrong.
But when you do it, it's a job well done.
Yeah, that's some good shit right there.
If you have a good shit, then the job's going to go badly, to be honest.
I feel like this is like emblematic of my comedy style, just like completely shit, talking about shit.
Oh, well, that's what comedy is, man. I think we really get better as comedians when we stop caring so much about our stuff. In the sense that, like, it's more about just having fun and,
It is.
Yeah.
So Jordi Evans Comic is what I am on most social media platforms, on Instagram and Twitter. You can join the 20 people who follow me if you want. And it's spelt Jordi. and then Evans is Evans, as in Evans, the Welsh name, and yeah,
Comic.
Jordi Evans comic, yeah.
I'll put it down so I can add it onto the
Nice.
template.
I'm gonna watch it
We're
back, and I'll see
professional,
that you've spelt it wrong, and I'll be like, and yeah, if you want to give me a follow, if you are interested in that show I was talking about earlier, Jordi versus Reality, I do have plans because I filmed the university
To
version.
be fair, I'll say the people that I've talked to and the people that I've seen watching this, to be fair, I think they would definitely enjoy your thing, so you should definitely follow that and look at it.
I do plan
100%.
I think I'm going to do it in May, so it's a little way off yet on like the 1 year anniversary.
That's
to
a smart
like
way to do it, though.
release like the video on YouTube or wherever online. So be sure to follow for more details of that when that comes along, as well as more details of where I am in the country.
As you know, with anyone that's been on the KD Comedy Inc. stuff, if they bring anything out, we'll happily share it to the people. So tell me, and I'll happily share anything.
Will do. Thank you very
man.
much. Thanks for having me.
But my plugs first, though. KD Comedy Inc., you know all the stuff. Go wherever you listen to this now, you can listen to all the things. You've got In Your House Comedian Podcast and Killed Him in Comedy. The main reason I wanted to do a plug now, though, is because I've actually got a gig to advertise.
Boom, boom.
It's the... Fuck, I forgot it now. Bear with me.
Hope that doesn't happen on stage. It's like, what's my jokes?
Oh, that's the worst thing for me, man. My memory is terrible. And my set that I've got now is perfect. I can remember it all, but it's just trying to remember the new stuff that I've been doing. But this is comedy... it's in Stoke for James Rogan. I haven't written down where it is, but you guys follow KD Comedy Inc. It's going to be there. You're seeing this now. It's going to have been there a week ago anyway, so look at it. Or tomorrow it'll be there maybe at some point.
Maybe.
Who cares?
Who knows? At some point.
Thank you very much, sir. Been a good
Thank you. Goodbye, everyone.
Au revoir.